night, Friday the 18th, and Margaritaville night on Saturday the 19th, before concluding the weekend on the 20th as the Lunáticos de Rocket City. Get your tickets for the homestand now at TrashPandasBaseball.com.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
Well, it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Hey folks, Bob Baumhower here. We're extremely proud that Baumhower's Victory Grille has been serving Alabama for 43 legendary years. Our motto is legendary fun, legendary food, and we strive to make every dining experience a special one for all of our guests. Our menu features delicious, always fresh and scratch-made in-house recipes. And of course, our award-winning wings and sauces. And don't forget, our happy hour and halftime daily specials cannot be beat. Baumhower's Victory Grille. Legendary fun, legendary food.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a back compressor, leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490. AL certain number 21014.
4 days, 16 teams. SEC Media Days coverage with Talkin' Ball, The Blitz, Tom Abraham, and The Drive will be live from Atlanta, July 14th to 17th. SEC football lives on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Neighbors Victory Grill. Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton here with you on a Wednesday. As you heard right there, we are prepping up to head to Hotlanta next week. Although it's rainy Huntsville right now.
Every day.
You brought it back with you.
Yes. I mean, it's just...
We were steaming last week.
Yeah, I know.
Just steaming.
Ready for September.
Yeah. Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah, if this is July, can only get ready for August.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put a helmet on. That's all I'll say.
Big 12 Media Days concluded today, and the likes of Deion Sanders, Mike Gundy, who I enjoy listening to, as well as Rich Rodriguez, were front and center at Big 12 Media Day. I have some audio there for you. And potentially we will have Ben Ingram coming up in hour number 2 as the Braves. Boy, I just about called child services on the Braves last night. How dare they do that to a 20-year-old pitcher? He just turned 22. Didier Fuentes did not have a very good outing at all against the Athletics. Braves fell 10-1 to the Athletics. And we'll see whether or not the Braves can bounce back with Elder on the mound. Boy, it is a long year. But it is talking season, as the head ball coach coined that phrase. And it's always fun to talk to someone with some local ties. And, boy, what a year one for the Tulane Green Wave as they made it all the way to their conference championship game. And Grissom High product, John Summerall, is kind enough to join us right out of the gate. How are you, Coach?
I'm doing awesome, man. I'm actually on a little vacation right now. My mom and my dad, who still live in Huntsville. So we got some Huntsville with us here at the beach right now. But, man, appreciate y'all having me on.
Man, I can't imagine being a sitting head coach right now in college football more than anything. It has for July 1st to happen what has changed in your world since the House settlement, Coach?
Well, I think if you go all the way back to, NIL and the transfer portal kind of coming down the pipe at the same time, which both are, I think, welcome additions. I don't look at either one of them as bad things per se. Those two changes happened simultaneously, which were a handful. And then most recently, the House settlement stuff that, the most obvious part of that people talk about is the 20.5 of rev share or pool payments, whatever you want to call it, along with other things. But the other components of that thing that are unique are the roster limits and some other stuff that we're all having to adapt and evolve to that are different in our world. And so that landscape has changed for sure. And we're all acclimating. We all still have a long way to go on what does it look like is there going to be people operating above the cap, way over the cap? What is that? How does that work? Because I don't know that the $20.5 million deal a year, I don't think 100% of people are going to abide by that per se. So we'll see. But, man, you got to always have your ankles taped. You always got to be ready for the adjustment because as soon as you think you know the rules change.
It's completely fair. Talking to John Summerall, Tulane Green Wave head football coach right now in the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And coming off year one, a very successful 9-win season. What did you see out of your squad in the spring, Coach?
Well, a lot of roster turnover. We have 2 returning offensive starters, our left tackle and our left guard. Everybody else is gone. Three receivers graduated. Starting running backs now at Oregon, starting quarterbacks now at Duke, starting tight ends now at Miami. And so we got a whopping 2 returning offensive starters. And on defense, we're in way better shape. We got 3 returning starters. So a very young, unproven, inexperienced group, a group that I'm really excited about. I like the talent. I think the challenge is how fast can we come together and really be unified as a team and have cohesion, and where we care about each other, we fight for each other, we play for each other. And so the quicker we get that done, the better off we're going to be. But a lot of unknowns. Quarterback's going to be new. The start running back's going to be new. 3/5 of the O-line's going to be new, and every receiver on offense is going to be new. And so there's a lot of changes that come with that make it very challenging to navigate. How do we put this roster together to be the best it can be?
And don't y'all play Duke like the 3rd game of the year?
Yeah, that's on our schedule. Yeah, we got them. So we play. We open with Northwestern game 1. We play South Alabama game 2. Play Duke game 3, and we play Ole Miss game 4. So we've got 3 of our 4 non-conference or Power 4 opponents, which is really a cool opportunity for us to play such a challenging non-conference schedule. I think it's probably as hard of a non-conference schedule as anybody in G5 football.
Well, goodness, I heard Mike Gundy say today when he goes on vacation, at least in the past, he could have at least a relatively good idea of his 2-deep. He said he was on vacation last week, Coach, and he doesn't have a clue on his 2-deep. What about you?
Yeah, I think you never really do, to me, selfishly have any idea. I would tell you there's no idea on any of it because you got to go through training camp. And, I don't care how much you have or haven't played, you still have to earn your opportunity to play more or play the same amount of snaps. And so nobody has a job that they're just entitled to. But the moving parts are so challenging of how many new guys you're going to have to figure out how do they fit into the equation. Last year for us was even harder. Last year we had 5 guys ended up becoming defensive starters that joined us in June, and they started game 1. I don't think we're going to have that crazy amount of newness in regards to getting here in June and becoming starters, but you don't really know. And quite frankly, like I said, I've never felt like you'd go into the summer knowing who your 2-deep is because you still got to go through summer practice and training camp, and you get what you earn in this game. You don't get given anything. Anybody gives anything out playing time wise, you're going to get your brain mashed in. Man, you have to earn it every daggum day. And so, I the last handful of years going to training camp, maybe thinking a couple things about your team, but man, I don't care if you've started every game last year. If you don't bring it and practice hard, you're not going to be a starter this year.
So how do you go, Coach? How do you go about getting the players at Tulane? How did you put your squad together this year after losing all those players?
I think you're looking for fit. The first thing I tell our staff all the time is, man, we want guys that love football and guys that are tough. And so when we're identifying who we select to be a part of our program, we want tough guys that love football, number 1 and 2. And then after that, from a recruitment standpoint, we have a lot of positive things to recruit too. Tulane's a top 50 academic school in the country. We happen to be located in what I think is one of the coolest cities in the world in New Orleans. And you get to do it at a place that in FBS football is kind of, I think, on the rise to some degree. The last 3 years, Tulane football is operating in a space that makes it unique and different and strong. And so that's where I feel like right now we're able to really present a lot of opportunity guys that they want to take advantage of. And so not a real hard sell. The biggest thing is making sure when we bring guys in the transfer portal, we bring guys in that match the identity of what we want our program to look like. And that means smart, tough guys that love football.
Well, I also see you posting selfies with Arch Manning and some guy. Who is that guy? That would be Coach Gruden. I mean, just hanging out with whoever, right there, Coach?
Yeah, Coach. Yeah, so I've gotten to know Arch really well in the last 18 months at Tulane. He's, man, a phenomenal guy. Couldn't be a better person. And then Coach Gruden, I've gotten to know him a little bit too. Coach Gruden's book is called Do You Love Football? And the guy, the whole first chapter is about a guy named Dave Adolph, basically, who says to Coach Gruden, do you love football, after a bad loss one time. And so, very fortunate to be able to make it over to the Manning Passing Academy last Saturday, a week and a half ago, and spend some time with those guys and get to kind of pick their brains. But I got more out of a 30-minute talk with Coach Gruden informationally that I think I really, like a sponge, was just drawing on his insight from a coaching and football perspective. That was a blast, man. And like I said, Archie Manning doesn't get better. He's a prince of a man.
Yeah, and the very next tweet out there was a SEC championship. Where is that championship trophy that you took a picture of there, Coach?
man. It's in our foyer of our recruiting lounge at Tulane. You know, we have a couple more SEC championships than some of the schools currently in the SEC. So I like to remind guys that you can go play in the SEC and not win, and that's not any fun. Like when we recruit people, I like to help them understand, like, you can be a loser in the SEC, and that's not really that much fun. So we have a good time displaying those, talking about those, and it's not so much about what conference you're in to us, is really what level of football you're playing, which we feel like we're playing football at a high level.
And coming off of a 9-win season, made it to the championship game. And I watched a lot of that Army game. What stood out in that game specifically? I know that was a tough environment up at Mikey Stadium.
Well, we played about as rotten as we could play, number one. That stood out. We played my 2 years as the head coach at Troy. We played Army both years, and we beat them 10-9 one year and 19-0 in year two. And then year three, as a head coach, we at Tulane year one, we go play them for the conference title and just got our brains mashed in. We didn't defend the run very well. Their quarterback was a beast, Bryson Daly. Ton of respect for him and the way he played the game. And we didn't play very good that night. It was very unfortunate. It was kind of a bad ending to the way we played the year, because we started off 9-2 and then fell apart a little bit there at the end. And they were a really good football team. I like their head coach a lot. He and I are friends. Like I said, we've coached each other the last 3 years. And that quarterback for them was a difference maker. He was a man's man, one of the toughest dudes I've played or coached against in this game. He was really an impressive player.
Well, one headline that at least caught my attention, Coach, was a story written on On3 about you turning down Power 4 jobs, of what ultimately led to the decision of coming back to Tulane after getting offered by other schools, Coach.
Well, the grass isn't always greener on the other side of the fence, and sometimes it may look greener and you get there and it's fake. Like it's not like, I started coaching as a GA, and then I left being a GA at the University of Kentucky to go to the University of San Diego for 5 years, which is 1AA non-scholarship football. And I maybe had as much fun coaching there as I did anywhere I've ever coached. And so it's not about the sexier logo or a bigger conference affiliation. It's about, do you believe in what you're doing it and who you're doing it with? And people don't take into factor either, like, man, I've got 4 young kids that love their schools. And what's more money going to mean? I started coaching making $17,000 a year. So at this point in life, I'm not just chasing a couple extra dollars. I'm really happy where I'm at. Tulane's provided me with a lot of opportunity and resourcing. My family loves New Orleans. They love where we live. They love where our kids go to school. My wife's happy. If your wife's happy, then you're able to have a lot of happiness in your life as a husband.
Happy wife, happy life.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm in a space where, man, I want to win. Like when I look at jobs, like who really wants to win? And so we're really happy where we are. And when you're a coach, there's basically 2 conversations that happen around your name. Typically, they think about, hey, how are we going to fire the guy, or where is he going to go next? And I'd much rather people be talking about where I'm going next than trying to fire me. So we're okay with the attention, but we have to keep winning, and we got a job to do. We got a lot of work to do it this year. It's a daunting task, but I could not be more reinvigorated about what we have in front of us this year.
Well, at least you got Army at home this year, but they're not off the schedule for you this year,
They're
Coach.
on the schedule still, 4 straight year. Glad the quarterback's gone, and I think 4 of their 5 offensive linemen are gone too, which I'm okay with that as well.
My final question to you: this was asked to Deion Sanders today. I'd like to get your thoughts on what would you like to change in college football.
I don't know change as much as what I'd say is I'm very much in favor of the 5 automatic qualifiers plus 11. I think the 4 Power 4 conferences deservedly their conference champion an automatic berth. Like the highest ranked G5, which, it's most years going to come out of our league or maybe Boise State here and there. But our league's probably the toughest top to bottom right now with us and Memphis and so many other teams, UTSA, Army, Navy, East Carolina, a lot of good teams in our league. And so I think the 5 plus 11 is really the thing that I'm for, that you earn it on the field. And I think anybody that's into let's have more automatic qualifiers, that's basically they're confessing to being scared to earning it on the field. And so if a team let people earn the opportunity, so give the 5 conference champions that are the 4 P4 plus 1 a spot, and after that, and who's the best teams? Put them in, and that's probably the biggest thing. The only other thing I would say is it's just a regulation on what is the rev share, full payment, NIL space. Like we say, we're getting regulation, and I don't know how well that's going to go. And so I'd like to see real fast transformational things there. It'd be great if our game had a commissioner, like a guy like Nick Saban, that could walk in and go, "Hey, this is how we're doing this, boys," and clean it up real fast. Because I think everybody listening gets their butt in line. And so right now there's not somebody that's as credible as him or as credible as anyone that may have his sort of stature that we could use that voice leading the charge on what we're doing.
Coach, I don't want to take any more time away from the family and the beach time. Thank you so much for hopping on. And there's a ton of people rooting for you here in North Alabama, as always, Coach.
All right. Appreciate you. Thank you so much.
That is Coach John Summerall, Grissom product.
Even though he went to Grissom.
Even though he went to Grissom. And the full rundown, I didn't make him say his quarterback's name because I can't pronounce it, but I'm sure he is well-versed on how to pronounce his quarterback's name. He is a transfer, and TJ Finley is gone. Yeah.
Borrowed one too many people's cars.
Yeah. Northwestern at South Alabama, host Duke, then at Ole Miss, at Tulsa, host East Carolina, then Army, as we've referenced, at the Roadrunners of UTSA, at Memphis, then at the host the Owls of Florida Atlantic, at Temple, and host Charlotte is the year 2 schedule for the Tulane Green Wave under head coach John Summerall.
Yeah, Army presents so many. I mean, you have to work on that stuff in the preseason big time to get an idea. You cannot get ready to play for Army in a week. You can't. All your rules are different.
Yeah,
everything's different on defense.
Well, I mentioned that question that Deion Sanders was asked today. What would Coach Sanders change in college football? Here is Prime's answer.
What I would change in college football, it has to be, and they're trying to implement it. It's got to be a salary cap on this stuff because this stuff is going crazy and nobody know where it's going to land, where it's going to end. And you have so many different doors. It's like I would see a player that said he got an offer from another school. And I'm trying to figure out why you guys haven't investigated it and how is that possible when the guy's not in the portal? How's that? Now, if that was one of my players, you guys would be all over it. I'm trying to figure out how can somebody say you got a $5 million offer and the kid is not in the portal. So I think we need to be upright and upstanding. Secondly, I like the professional rules to be implemented in college. They're getting ready to be pros. So let's go 2 feet in, on the catches. Let's mark the foul if it pass interference. Let's do the same thing the pro game is. Let's do it to college. And let's do something about the uniforms. We got guys out there in backer shorts. That makes me sick because I'm a football guy. Like I played this game at a high level and I have so much respect for this game. And how can we allow guys out there in back of shorts, no knee pads, no nothing, literally pants up under their thighs, and that's cool. So I think there should be a fine implemented for that stuff, and let's have more respect for this tremendous game. Now I could go all day when you talk about making changes, but we have a pretty good game, a darn good game, one of the best games I think in sports. That's why we attract so many people, especially the Colorado Buffaloes. We attract so many eyeballs. You want to see us win, you want to see us lose, but you want to see us. But I wish we could implement some of those things. It's just 3 off the top of my head. Thank you. That's a darn good question, my man.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I agree with the biker short thing. All they do is preach this and preach that about safety, and they don't have pads in, and they get hurt. That's why their injuries are up, because they don't wear their equipment. We quit wearing our knee pads. Well, I'd put on regular knee pads, like basketball knee pads.
Yeah,
because you didn't want to get the turf knee. And the other things just slid around, but people stopped wearing them, so they would check us for our pads, and it's a safety thing. The other stuff, I don't care about the NFL. Everybody talks about the NFL. We're not in the NFL. I like the differences of college football and NFL.
Especially the kickoff.
Yeah,
especially the kickoff right now.
The kickoff and having 1 foot down. They're not professional. They're gonna be. But they're not, and I like the 1 foot in. I think it makes it a more exciting game, to be honest with you. I'm a fan of college football. I am a fan of playoff NFL football. I am not a fan of regular season NFL football. It is boring. The refs decide most of the games. That's my opinion. Now. Again, that's my opinion. I used to be a fan of the NFL every game, back when the men were men and the goats were scared, but not anymore.
That one part for Dion is starting to get a little more traction. He's not the only coach that I've heard implement NFL rules.
Wow, they can watch it on Sunday if they want to. I don't watch it. I mean, the NFL is got 32 teams, and they have a monopoly, and they're allowed to have a monopoly because of they have an agreement. And they got caught cheating on it today. Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Oh yeah, they were collusion. They basically the teams quit giving out guaranteed deals. And they got caught with that today, which I read about.
I see. Okay, I see that now here.
So,
ESPN.com.
I'm for. I think targeting is ridiculous the way they're doing it now. There should not, but I agree with. Who was that on this yesterday talking about injuries and the
Trevor
Maddich. I like the fact they have targeting on the receivers, the people that in the quarterback not going high on them, but they say you can't go the low thing. That's kind of, where do you tackle them? So I don't. You got to be able to tackle them low. I mean, should you go for his knee? Well, no, but most people can't tackle a big guy by the knee anyway. So because those quarterbacks are got bigger and bigger. And I think some of the rules they have for protection of the quarterback are good, but I think they need to be streamlined. If they touch the guy in the helmet, they call it a penalty sometimes.
Yeah.
They don't call it every time.
It depends on the crew.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll hit them hard and they won't call it. Sometimes they'll barely touch them and will call it. To me, if the guy doesn't hit the ground, I don't see how it should be a penalty. Right? If the guy has never hit the ground, I don't think it should be a penalty. So,
I agree.
So
yeah.
I think they need to. There are too many penalties. Don't you? And the NFL is ridiculous.
Yes.
And I like the fact they go 15 yards. It makes more of a instead of the spot of the foul. But I could get over that for the most part. That one I could kind of get over a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it makes the guys, the people
or illegal man downfield.
Well, they finally changed that. That was a good change.
Yeah,
because it was a huge unfair advantage. I mean, how many rules you think about?
Yeah,
and to me, my hat's off. Hold on, my hat's off to how many rules that Gus Malzahn got changed.
Yeah,
I bet there's 10
at least.
Yeah, and my hat's off to him for that. The one where he's got a free timeout and they kick the field goal. I mean, that's genius. That was, I mean, and to get your players on board with that and all that, that's practice. And he won a lot of games with that stuff that he would normally not win. But you got to, I mean, I didn't like it because it was against my team, but at the same time, my hat's off to him. Well, I mean, I think that if he recruited like Coach Saban, that's the difference, right?
Yeah.
That was the difference.
Yeah. Then
he had one really good recruiting year. Other than that, I mean, a lot of those guys were pieced together. So, yeah.
And to run that system, I still say Nick Marshall's
best I've ever saw.
Oh, my goodness.
You couldn't tell if he had the ball or not.
No.
And then, you had they've been going out in the pass and your tight end be blocking the linebacker and they didn't call it. So you got, they made but they were so innovative. They made the game so fast where the defenses had no prayer because of the rules. And they took advantage of it. They didn't break the rules. They took advantage of it. There's a difference. And Coach Bryant was the best at it. I mean, they had Bear Bryant rules.
I need to read up on that. I have not done that.
Well, what he did is he took every scholarship, made it a football scholarship.
Well, yeah, we've talked about that. Your dad was on a track scholarship.
They call that the Bear Bryant rule. Well, you can't do that anymore. There are several other rules. The tearaway shirts, the tackle eligible. You can go down the list. He had a bunch of them that he did and they had to change the rules because of it. Steve Spurrier, what an innovator he was.
Yep.
With the receivers going everywhere and lining up on the outside, inside, trying to figure out who's eligible, not on defense. He gave him a bunch of problems, and then he did the timing on the routes where they just threw to a spot.
Mm-hmm.
They were brilliant the way they did. I mean, there have been great coaches, but you have to recruit. What made Coach Saban so good, how he changed the game, and I don't think he gets enough credit for this, and I've talked about it on this show. First of all, his recruiting. He watched film of every kid. There was no guesswork, right? He watched the film of every kid before they offered them. At the end, he made them all come into camp. If you didn't come to camp, you wouldn't get an offer. Now, I'm sure that wasn't 100%, but it was a huge percentage. But what he did most is he got his kids to graduate from college. And he changed the way that was. I will never forget in Miami at the Orange Bowl, they put Ohio State's graduates up there, and they had one. They didn't have a full list. People graduated from college. Then they did Alabama's, and it was 2.5 pages of people who had graduated, and some of them had graduated with master's degrees. And what that does for those kids is nobody talks about graduating rates anymore.
No.
We don't talk about it. But what they did was the way he did his academics, everybody copied. He did it at LSU, and he came to Alabama, did the same thing, and now everybody has that system. The way he did his back office, like the NFL, having all those coaches. Now everybody has all those coaches. Everybody's copied what he did. What he did was take the back end of the staff and turn it into an NFL program. And now everybody is. You can't compete if you don't.
Oh, I see a very familiar face there at the bar here at Baumhower's.
I can't see that far.
Oh,
there he is.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take.
He's getting warmed up.
Yes, he is. Let's go ahead and take our first time out, shall we? You can probably see him on WZZN TV.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Well, he showed up.
Yeah,
he showed up. Yeah.
He showed up. Yes, he did. And
he's been a busy man.
Yes, he has. Let's go ahead and take our first time out. See whether or not we can get Samuel to mosey on over.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Does it really matter which dealership you plan to buy from? Short answer is yes. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. Taking a little time to find out about the dealership before you buy can have a big payoff. Customer reviews let you know what others think, and that's good. But industry reviews can tell you even more. Woody Anderson Ford is proud to have been selected as Ford's Triple Crown winner, an award that only 1% of the top Ford dealers in the country are able to earn. This is a big deal, and here's why. Ford's Triple Crown is based on superior customer service, sales excellence, and over-the-top service delivery. And again, only 1% of the top Ford dealers in all of America achieve this goal. Woody Anderson Ford is top of the top. So when it's time to pull the trigger on your next car, truck, or SUV, we'd be honored if you'd give us a chance to show you how we earned our Triple Crown status. Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White, and we hope to see you soon.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
Your customers deserve the best, and so do you. You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loader from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Best of all, now Thompson Tractor is making that investment even better with our Workhorse Special. Get 0% financing for 36 months on the purchase of a new Cat 255 compact track loader that comes with a 3-year warranty. You also get a 74-inch bucket and 1,000-hour filter kit. But hurry, this offer is only good through June 30th. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor. We're here for you.
Hey there, Bob Baumhower again. Baumhower's Victory Grille is extremely proud to have recently received numerous awards, including being voted best wings in the state of Alabama. Other awards received include Best All-Around Restaurant, Best American Restaurant, #1 Sports Bar, Best Chef, Best Wings, and Best Dining Experience. Thank you for 43 legendary years, and we look forward to providing you an award-winning dining experience at every visit. Baumhower's Victory Grille. Legendary fun, legendary food.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here with you on The Drive. Live here from
I didn't know where you were.
Yeah, no, I was waiting for the guitar to kick in there. I know this is usually.
I knew you were there.
Yeah, I know this is usually associated with a certain talk show host back in the day, but this is on my on my run list when I'm
You see,
feeding
folks,
music.
We've talked about the show before the show.
Yep.
And Steve and I have similar tastes in music. We like to surprise each other.
So there you go. Back here at Baumhower's Victory Grill. Of course, this hour brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford and the fine folks over there at Woody Anderson Ford. 2 locations, better to serve you. Online at woodyandersonford.com. Yes.
That's all one of my old basketball coach there, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't see anything without my glasses.
Sam Fleming is
he showed up.
Yeah, he is here at Baumhower's. How are you, Sam?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, you were here and
not
enjoying Baumhower's.
Not a bad place to show up early, right?
No, not a bad. Well, you've been a busy guy.
Yeah, it's been really busy the last month and a half, however long it's been. Yeah, it's kind of a blur, but yeah, still a lot of work to do. A lot of people still need roofs, and we're here to help.
And the restoration as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've been helping a lot of people still have tree damage and, gutter damage and just all kinds of, siding, whatever. Yeah, we're doing all that right now. So
if you're not sure, though, you need to check it.
Yeah.
How long do you have to do that?
Usually have a year. They have what they call like a data loss, right? So the day the hailstorm happened. Now, if there's another hailstorm, and it doesn't even have to be a big hailstorm, if there's another hailstorm within the year, then you're still good, right?
Right.
So, but if you go 12 consecutive months without a hail date in the area, and you claim it on the 13th month, and there's no hail dates between now and then you're out of luck. And so the chances of that happening that are really low, but if you think you have damage, you want to go ahead and get it checked.
Right.
So, yeah.
And so, how long does it take for y'all to get there after they call? I know y'all are.
Yeah.
Y'all got a lot of work right now.
We're asking people to be patient. Yeah. I mean, we're probably 2-3 days out from getting out and looking at people's houses. But, if it's an emergency, if you've got an active leak or something, we'll prioritize that. We don't want to cause any more damage than, necessary. But, yeah.
But people need to be careful of these people coming from out of town.
Yeah, there are several companies that are out of town. They pose as local companies. They get a 256 number. And, I don't really want to say their names on the radio, but you can research that. If they're knocking on your doors, there are some local companies that do that. We do not do that. But that's definitely a sign that it could be an out-of-stater because they don't have any marketing, no networking, no.
And your problem with that is that if they don't do a good job, they're not here to fix.
They're gone in a year. As soon as it works out, they're gone. They might pay somebody to come if they're still doing a little bit of roofs and take care of you. But when they're gone, they're not coming back. And they're just trying to find anybody they can that's a crew, local, that'll do the work. And, they're probably lowballing that crew. And, so you're not getting the best of the best. I mean, the crews we have, we work with them every single day. Same 2 crews every day for the last 3 years that I've had. So.
FlemingHSV.com for those of you that are out on the highways right now. But it just, you mentioned how covered up you are right now.
Yeah, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. I mean, the first 2 weeks was really crazy. But yeah, we're kind of caught up. We're doing a little bit of lag work now. Some insurance paperwork needs to be done. Not getting quite the influx of calls. Monday after the 4th of July was a little busy, but yeah, it's a little bit back to regular volume of calls, but we still have a lot of people that we're working with that we quoted and, the insurance. So there's a lot going on.
So how does it work? So you had hail damage or you think you might have had hail damage.
Right. Yeah. Right. So if you just call in the office and just say, hey, and a lot of times you'll call an agent, and we work with so many agents, the agents want you to have a roofer look at it first.
Right.
So a lot of those agents will recommend us or somebody else just come out and check it. So, but if you have us come out before you call your insurance company, we can tell you, yes, you have a claim, file it, or no, you're okay, don't worry about it, or there might be some maintenance items that need, that we notice while we're looking. If you don't have any, we can say, hey, you need to watch out for this, and this. Do you have any leaks, whatever? And, we can give you a little refresher on your roof. So
right. And that'll save you money big time.
Right. Yeah. I mean, drywall and paint's not cheap either. So yeah.
Goodness.
I know. It's a lot to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for 20 years. I'm just now getting the hang of it.
But he's also getting the hang of Baumhowers as well.
I got the wife coming down here. I mean, we're gonna make a day out of it. You know? Nobody's got to cook tonight. It's great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Just build you guys a little corner studio right here.
Well, I mean, this is
Save Wes some money on that building,
So there's that as well.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Got football coming up though, man. I need the distraction.
So do you go to many games, Sam?
I haven't. I've been going to more basketball games than anything. That's just been a lot of fun. But just logistics of getting down there and finding a place to stay and driving back after you might have had a few cocktails. So I prefer the TV, but yeah.
Yeah, I used to go to every game almost. I remember when Wesley was 4 and Connor was 2, I took them to 10 football games that year. And we had a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
But it is harder to it used to be able to find places to stay, this or that, and it's expensive to go to Tuscaloosa now.
Yes, it is. I remember my senior year at Alabama, somebody told me there's a priority. I'm like, hey, you've been here for 7 years working on a 4-year degree. You can probably get any ticket on a road game you want. So we went to Baton Rouge, man. We had a great time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was when Franchione beat Saban, actually. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Wow. We don't really reference that too much.
No.
Here on
yeah, Coach Fran, God bless his heart.
He messed up his career, didn't he?
Well, I hate to see that from him.
Yeah.
He was such a good guy.
For more,
just ask Jared Johnson. He loved that guy too.
For more compelling Dennis Franchione conversations, you can head over to FlemingHSV.com. Oh, goodness gracious.
You saw Ben Shelton played today, quarterfinals.
Did he win?
No. He didn't play that great. He was making a lot of unforced errors, missing a lot of serves. So first set went to a tie break. He was up 2-0 in tiebreaker. I think he lost 7-2, and then got broke once in the second and third set and lost. But that guy was good, though. The Italian guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's the best in the world right now.
Yeah, he's the only Italian player ever be ranked number one in the world. Yeah.
Does he not?
He looks like kind of like an Aussie to me or something.
Yeah, man, he does not look Italian.
Yeah. No, he does not. No, he does not.
He has more shots. Yeah. I happened to watch him play the other day, and I didn't know who he was. I know he's number one.
Right.
And I just kept watching him, and he just got all these jump shots, and then just so much spin. The ball's going everywhere, and he gets to everything as well.
I was watching a match, and they had this redheaded kid out there, and I thought he was the American guy. There was like one American guy, and then some guy from like I don't know, Egypt or somewhere. Turns out the redheaded guy was from Egypt, and I'm like, is he the one?
The one.
Well, Brian Shelton grew up here. What a great guy. He was Ben's daddy, and great tennis player. Has still a lot of people following him in Huntsville because of what a great guy is.
He graduated with my sister, and we used to have a court at the house. He did play at the house, and just such a great guy.
Yeah,
he beat Agassi in a tournament in Atlanta. And I was 12, 13 years old. Thought it was the greatest thing ever, So,
was your dad there?
No. Joe was too cheap to go to Atlanta and watch the tournament. Yeah.
He was a character, no doubt.
Well, it's always good to see you, Sam.
Yeah, good to see y'all. Appreciate you having me.
And give these guys a call. They'll do what they say they're going to do. They'll show up. They'll do what they say they're going to do. And they'll help you, and they do quality work. And I can't recommend them enough.
Yep. Give us a call if you need anything. We're here.
256-651-9440.
That's it. FlemingHSV.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Let's go ahead and take our final time out here in hour number 1 here from Baumhower's Victory Grille.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, Check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com. Here in North Alabama, barbecue is a part of what makes our home so special, and great barbecue from Lawler's makes it just that much better. Since 1978, Lawler's has been serving up their delicious barbecued pork, ribs, chicken, ham, and turkey for generations of family get-togethers. Recognized as the best barbecue joint in Alabama for 2 years in a row, Lawler's is thrilled to share their award-winning barbecue for your next family meal or catered event. Order online or stop by any one of their 14 area locations. Lawler's Barbecue, cooked slow, served fast.
John Abraham here for Bobcat of Huntsville. Right now till the end of June, you can get 0% financing on the world-famous line of Bobcat skid steers, excavators, mowers, and tractors. Need attachments? They got them. And did I mention 0% as in nada? No financing charge for 48 months. It's like free money. Visit the brand new Bobcat of Huntsville in their tremendous new facilities on Highway 20 in Madison, right next to Redstone Harley-Davidson.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Some of that activity could linger into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms once again.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. Only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Playing all the hits. Coming back here, live from Baumhower's Victory Grille. See, breaks aren't that long. All the notables are here. You can watch us over on WZZN TV. The young man that was walking away from us right there.
My middle school coach.
Yeah.
From high school, track, basketball, and football.
Enjoying,
I keep up with him on social media. We talk on social media.
Enjoying Baumhower's Victory Grille. You can come on down here. We're here till 7, so come on down. 256-576-4977, the telephone number. I already played a little bit from Deion Sanders. Well, he also did this today. This is part of the question in the main room.
Your quarterback room also looks great. You have two really talented players.
We brought both of them because I don't know which one's going to start.
My question to you is, would you be comfortable with a situation where both guys play?
Yeah. As long as they're doing their jobs and we're winning, we definitely want to continue to develop Juju, but Caden is unbelievable. Caden's off the chain. He's been there, done that. He can get the job done. I wouldn't have brought him here if I didn't trust him. But Juju is coming on around the mountain when he comes. And I love him. I love what he brings to the table. I don't know how it's going to play out. As long as it plays out, we can't lose either way with either of those two.
Or froze center right.
So there you go. He brought both quarterbacks.
Juju.
I mean,
Juju, what do you say? He's coming around the mountain when he comes.
Around the mountain when he comes.
He's you said
No
very,
word on the
very
white horses.
Dion,
Develop.
Dion's good for football.
He is.
Yeah,
He is.
I don't agree with everything he does. I like his message to his team for the most part. 90% of it. I like his, probably 95%. I like his message. I think he, down deep, has the kids' well-being at heart.
It feels that way.
It feels that, and that ain't the case for a lot of coaches.
Honestly, I hear a little Bobby Bowden in him. I do.
Well, he was a Bobby. I'll never forget when we used to talk to the guy that played for Coach Bryant, that was defense coordinator,
Mickey Andrews.
Mickey Andrews. When we used to talk to Mickey, he would say, he talked about all the great players, and they had the guy that played for Tampa Bay,
Derek Brooks,
who may be the best football player ever to play at Florida State, and one of the best players. They made a defense that they still run because of him, which is the Tampa 2.
That's right.
So
yeah,
and he was so good at it, and what a great player. But you would ask him who was the best player ever, he'd say Derek Brooks. You ask him who was the hardest working player ever, he'd say Deion Sanders. And that to me says it all. Because everybody just think, Deion had a lot of talent, which he did, but he developed that talent to a very high level. Where at his prime time, he was the best defensive back, in my opinion, in history.
And we've talked about Deion with Jerry Glanville as well, and he mentioned his work ethic as well.
Right.
So
Well, I mean, if you're going to learn from a coach, you could do worse than Bobby Bowden. Just like people coming up now, they're going to model their coaching after Nick Saban. So I mean, it only makes sense.
Well, we enjoyed Coach Bowden when he used to come on.
And we were at Baumhower's
when we did the
day of the incident.
So
Ray back in the day, I gave Ray a number, and he had another name associated with the number, and it was Mark Rick. So we actually got both coaches on.
Accidentally, because I think Bobby Bowden called because he knew he was supposed to come on. But
that's
we
right.
had called Mark Rick.
Yeah.
It was a mess up in the studio.
Yeah.
That's because Vanna was turning letters at the time. And Ray was watching.
That was a daily occurrence.
Yeah.
Well, you put all these TVs in here, you never know.
So actually, back in the day, the television in the control room was my old little 19-inch television from college. So I mean, it lasted a while, but did not survive a couple of the moves that we have partaken. But yes, Vanna was definitely a distraction
for
a while. That's fair. That's fair.
So anyway, but it ended up being magical.
It did.
Time we had Coach Fuller on and Pat Dye at the same time.
Yeah,
we
were at another establishment,
and we would
turned our microphones off
and had dinner
and
just listen and enjoy. A couple of times I'd have to go on, and get them back on track. Yeah.
Well, Coach Dye would say after a while, "Are we having Are we having technical difficulties? Because there was a period of time where we were having some phone issues.
Yeah,
and Coach Dye would pivot to that.
His phone was awful, but he blamed it on us.
Yeah.
Didn't we do something down there to fix his phone?
I did. Yeah. So if people really want to know, he had his phone on Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi would cut out because the farm was so large.
Right.
And so as soon as I cut out Wi-Fi, he was good.
Yeah. He get mad at us.
And his assistant, she asked me, "What did you do?" And then I told her, and she said, "Okay, good. I just wanted to know."
Yeah,
so
I don't know if you're aware, but there's still not a lot of cell towers down in Okeechobee.
No, there really isn't.
My phone goes down to like half a bar riding through Lee County.
Well, coming up in hour number 2, we'll find out whether or not Ben Ingram is going to join us from the left coast as the Braves. The Braves, I saw this in the game notes yesterday, and I tweeted it out and was like, oh, wow, that is such fantastic news there. The Braves are now, I want to say 0-13. Yes, 0-13 in the state of California.
And worried about those taxes.
and that dates back to the wild card series to end last year when the Braves were swept out at San Diego. And they've been swept out by the Padres and Dodgers and Giants and lost the very first game of this series out in Sacramento quite handily. But we'll potentially talk to Ben Ingram coming up in hour number 2.
A little note for back here at the ranch, the Rocket City Trash Painters going into a rain delay. Pre-game here in just a few minutes. Josh will give you your lineups, and we can come back, listen to Bill O'Reilly for a few minutes while we let the rain pass in Chattanooga.
Wow. So, yeah, there was a rather large clap of thunder maybe about an hour ago, a little over an hour ago here in downtown Huntsville. And, I see Chattanooga is covered up right now. So it's going to take a minute for that thing to roll through there.
Yeah, they could put the duck boats in that outfield.
Mm-hmm.
The rain coming down Chattanooga right now.
Been there, done that. I do have some audio from Mike Gundy, who spoke on 5+11. It just feels like that is picking up some serious momentum. Have that in 3 minutes for you.
Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, inviting you to come test drive any one of our over 100 F-150s. From rock-solid, dependable work trucks to our state-of-the-art Platinum Series, we've got an F-150 for you. Test drive one today, and you'll understand why the F-150 is the best-selling truck in America, going on 48 years in a row. Just as successful offenses and defenses are built on teamwork, Woody Anderson Ford is powered by our people. Our sales and service teams are well-trained to save you time and money. And because we want your business again and again, no one will work harder to earn it. Our mobile service teams come to your home or business for oil changes, brake work, tire rotations, and more. And the great thing is you don't pay extra for it. We come to you with mobile service at no extra charge. Proud to be local, family-owned, and at your service for over 62 years. Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Center. I'm Ed Bankin. Afternoon baseball featured a sweep of the defending champs and the end of a streak for the hottest team in baseball. The Dodgers lost to the Brewers 3-2 as Jackson Churio singled home a run in the 10th inning. The loss gave the Dodgers their first 6-game losing streak since April of 2019. The Blue Jays winning streak ends at 10. They fall to the White Sox 2-1. After losing on a walk-off inside the park home run last night, the Phillies bounced back in San Francisco with a 13-0 win over the Giants. Philadelphia pulls a half game ahead of New York in the NL East and will stay in first the rest of the night. The Mets game against the Orioles in Baltimore has been postponed and will be made up as part of a doubleheader tomorrow. The Yankees have designated DJ LeMahieu for assignment. They will play the Mariners again tonight. According to ESPN's Don Van Natta and Kalen Kaler, the NFL and senior leaders of the Players Association reached a confidentiality agreement that hid the details of an arbitration agreement with players, included a finding that league executives had urged team owners to reduce player compensation. The Players Association decided to seek an appeal of the ruling that found there was not sufficient evidence of collusion by the owners to keep guaranteed salaries down. It's a rare quiet day in the NBA's offseason. Meanwhile, defending champs are still savoring their title. ESPN's Ramona Shelburne says the Thunder are well positioned with their depth.
They're set up for sustainable success, and they're set up in a way that I think they won because of their cast, because of the supporting cast, because of their depth. They just outlasted everybody.
Summer League action continues throughout the week. WNBA Vegas's Aja Wilson questionable tomorrow for her team's game against Washington. She's dealing with a wrist injury.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Thursday, the Thunder continue to sign their young stars to huge contracts, but are they heading towards the same fate as the Celtics? It's on Sportsman Like 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Hour number 2 rolls along here at a bustling Baumhower's. Come on down. There's a couple of tables open. I mean, if it's Sam's still here. Oh, yeah. So come on by. We're here for another hour. 256-576-4977. The telephone number. And, of course, next week is SEC Media Days. But today concluded Big 12 Media Days. And there is, I did mention to Coach Summerall, who joined us right off the top of the show, the second-year coach at Tulane, about this is exactly what I was referencing to Coach Summerall about the differences of this offseason compared to the last few. Keep in mind, Oklahoma State has gone deep into the portal this after a year in which they won 0 Big 12 games last year.
So whenever I used to go on vacation in July, I had a really good idea of who our 2 deep was going to be. In most cases, who the quarterback was going to be. I'm going to try to go on vacation in a week or so. And I'm not sure that I know who will be the starters in 8 of the 22 spots. That's not counting special teams. So it's very unusual. And coaches understand that it's going to happen faster in August this year than it ever has before. So we can get established, so we can create some identity, hopefully develop some team chemistry, and get ready to play in the first game.
That is Mike Gundy.
So is he under any pressure at this point? Do you think so?
I don't think so. Remember he had his deal restructured after a very disappointing year, although they beat Arkansas. I'll never forget that game last year.
They shouldn't have.
I mean, Arkansas
blew that game. No question about it.
Yeah. It's one of those games where you just, what am I watching? It's
no doubt.
Coach Gundy was asked about the 5+11 model, and here is what the Oklahoma State head coach had to say.
When you talk about the 5-11, is that what you're referring to? I listened to it, read about it. When the discussions first started in Orlando a few weeks ago, I really didn't have much input because they started talking about a lot of numbers, and that was over my head. But then as I listened to it and heard from all the other coaches, it made a lot of sense from the standpoint of, don't we all want to play the game and decide who should get in the end, and not just set it up to where certain conferences get in, whether they don't play as well as other schools, because ultimately we're trying to find the best teams, whatever that number is, to get in a playoff, seed them appropriately, and then let them play for a championship. And so I'm in agreement with the commissioner, and it's by far the best way. I understand the backlash. Well, what if you only get one team in? Well, then the other teams need to play better. That's what I would say to Oklahoma State. That's what I would say to me as a head coach. So I like the Big 12 conference. I like the future of this league. And I put my name behind the agreement that we made, that standard, that 5-11 is the way it should be. And if you play well, you deserve it, you earn it, you get in. If you don't, then you try again next year.
8's enough. I'll go down forever saying that.
You're going to die on that hill.
Well,
it ain't going to happen. I mean, we're already at 12.
Yeah, but if they do what they did last year, you'll see the game starting to road. Nobody paid attention to the first 4 games.
Well, we did, but I mean,
yeah, but
they're not after us.
No, I'm just saying. That's
Yeah.
what I'm telling you. They were awful. The games were awful. They were supposed to be all this home game, this and that. They were awful.
The early games have been hard to watch.
Yes.
But I would go to practice. Maybe not enough practice.
What do you mean not enough practice?
Not enough padded practice.
What does
maybe
that have
I'm
to do?
wrong.
I don't know what that has to do with it. I'm talking about in the playoffs. You've had plenty of padded.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not talking about.
I'm talking about the playoffs. And what matters is if you play easy schedule, you have a better chance of getting in.
Indiana, SMU,
yada yada yada.
Yep.
I mean, Clemson had three losses to get to. If they played at SEC school, they got beat last year.
They did. They were 0-3.
Yeah. So I don't want to watch more bad football. That's just what it's going to be. If a 1 plays a 16, it's going to be bad. And it just is.
Well, it goes back to that audit of exactly what is the CFP auditing and how are they auditing it. I just.
What do you mean? So I don't know. I'm not sure about that. What's being
that was part of the answer from Brett Yormark yesterday that I played for you. Here's what I'm referencing.
Last season, the committee didn't show much respect to the Big 12 in its final rankings. Is there a tightrope you have to walk when you're trying to decide whether to support the 5-11 or the automatic qualifiers? Getting two automatics might be enticing after the respect that the committee failed to show you.
I have a lot of faith in the selection process. I was recently in North Carolina. We had a CFP meeting that was hosted by the executive director, Richard Clark, who is here today. Welcome, Richard. They are doing a full audit of the selection process to figure out how they can modernize and contemporize and how they use data and how certain metrics can be more heavily weighted. Most importantly, they have a great leader, Mac Rhodes of Baylor. And I have a lot of faith in Mac Rhodes and the work he's doing with the selection committee. So I have a lot of faith in what they're doing. And 5-11 is fair. We want to earn it on the field. It might not be the best solution today for the Big 12, given your comments about AQs. But long term, knowing the progress we're making, the investments we're making, it's the right format for us. And I'm doubling down today on 5-11. And I know Jim Phillips will, and I'm sure some of the other conference commissioners will as well.
That is what I was referencing.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to watch I don't think 16 people are too many. I think 12's too many. 8's enough. That's just my opinion. But this is more about money, in my opinion, than anything. Isn't it always about money? And now they got to pay the players. And
the word entitlement was brought up today to a couple of coaches about kids with entitlement issues. And I don't know how deep of a dive
well, I'm gonna tell you something
that these
about
reporters.
entitlement.
Yeah.
In football, it doesn't last long.
I wouldn't think
You
so.
yeah. If you're not working like you heard these coaches say,
Mhm.
hey, you have a when you get entitled and you're not working hard, like the coach said, there's nobody should think they're entitled to start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you become entitled and you think you don't have to work, that's the beginning and the end for you.
Here is
If
how
you're not getting better. You either, like Coach Bryant said, you're either getting better or you're getting worse every day. You got to work hard to get better. And if you're not working hard to get better, then you're going backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You never stay the same. So you cannot be entitled. And that's what Coach Saban was so good about fighting, is these players that get to feel like,
he said complacency there for a while.
He said complacency. But when he got there, he said, some people just think they can show up with a red jersey and they're going to win.
This is the post game of the Clemson win.
Yeah. He says, that's not right.
Yeah.
He said, this is one game.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
He said, we got to keep working, get better every week. And that's what you have to take it.
One of the more memorable press conferences he had.
Where they were losers, a close game, and you thought he was going to get on them, he brought them back up. Coach Bryant was the same way. When you got beat or when you won a big game, he'd talk about all the things you did wrong. You strive for perfection.
Mm-hmm.
You hardly ever does a team get there, right? But that's what make those guys the greatest coaches. They're never satisfied. They when the season was over, they were already working on the next season. Like when you see Lane talking about, they had a 8:00 meeting the day after they had a national championship, and he was talking about how they were behind in recruiting.
Yeah,
and that's the way you have to be. If you don't have much time to celebrate, you celebrate at the end when you look back. Right?
Yeah.
That's when you celebrate, when it's over. And you can celebrate the fact, look what all he can celebrate, right? So, very interesting.
Yeah.
The words, but I don't think it's something that's that serious, but we'll have to get a report and we'll let you know on Monday.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
Here it is.
We made a B on the midterm, so we're going to take a week off and get a D and have a C average, or are we going to go try to get an A? This is one game. What we did in this game is one game. That's what it counts. I like for our players to have confidence, but I think our players play with confidence tonight. I didn't see anybody scared out there. I didn't see any fear. Now you all scared to ask another question?
Hey, I miss him so much. I mean, I watch Game Day and it's good. He does an unbelievable job.
Yeah, he does.
Never thought he'd be as good as he is on Game Day. That being said, to me, his press conferences I could not wait to listen to his press conference.
This is the front half that I skipped over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the tail end of it.
Well, it's one game. Confidence can screw you up. Confidence can be a good thing, but what our players need to understand, what our fans need to understand, what everybody needs to understand. It's one game. It's one game. All right. And we need to keep playing better and we need to improve, and our players need to have the focus to improve. And remember how they got where they got, rather than think that we can just show up now and beat whoever we play. Because we have a tendency to think that way around here, instead of just kicking people's ass like you're supposed to and working to do it. All right. So when you ask me those kind of questions, it really pisses me off. I'm not pissed off at you. All right. But that mentality that You got to work and earn it. And then we got to earn it in the next game. And we're going to have to earn it in the next game. And what we did tonight was great. We won one game. We got 11 more. We need to take them one game at a time, and we need to improve as a team. And that's what our team needs to be focused on. And if we want to be a good team, that's what we need to do. That's how everybody should think.
I remember going to the practices and watching Terrence Cody. And, and I was talking to an old coach. And the old coaches, when you start bragging on a player, they ask this and that. And he goes, Wes, can he two-gap? And I said, Coach, he is a two-gaps. And that center was his first snap as a player ever in a game. He was a freshman, the center for Clemson. And that's why I was so confident, if you remember, going to that game.
Mm-hmm.
I told him he ain't not going to be able to block it. And he never did. And Cody just dominated that game.
That was the end of Tommy West.
Yeah. So anyway, I was I'll never forget that. He asked me, he said, well, Kenny two gaps.
Some interim coach took over named Dabo Sweeney.
He's still there. I tell you, I remember Clemson beat LSU and didn't have near the team that LSU had. LSU did not play well in that game. Dabo had his guys ready to play. LSU didn't. I'll never forget a speech after that. But Dabo was being a cheerleader, basically saying, "Hey, this is a big victory. We're gonna win a championship while I'm here." And I'm thinking, but if you don't talk about it, it's like, how can you believe?
Yeah. Jim Valvano cutting down nets in the practice of just,
he was painting a picture.
Yeah.
For him, and it's come true. So it's interesting, all the things that go in to winning and painting that picture, and there's different ways to do it. Dabo's tough on his players. He makes them work hard, but he's a little different than Coach Saban, right? But but he has that dog in him. He bring it out. We've seen it.
Yeah.
But he's a wide receiver, so the dog in him isn't so bad.
Here is Mike Gundy on that entitlement that started this conversation.
That's a great question from a young person. Boy, I'm trying to figure out how to combat entitlement in the world in general, much less college athletes. That's a real challenge. We talked about it. I shared earlier with a group one thing that I've said to the team twice this summer and to the coaches, that when we start on July 27th, two things have to go out the window. One, thinking of transferring or taking other jobs as a coach or a player. Two, the money aspect has to go to the side, because for the most part, the coaches and the players, all of us, including me, are going to be at this location until at least December. The teams that can put that to the side and the coaches that can put that to the side, concentrate on coaching and playing football and find a way to come together, in my opinion, get the best chance to win. That's the only way that I think that we can handle the monetary side of college football at this time.
That is Mike Gundy from earlier today. He also had this to say on there is a new video game out.
Hey, Coach Gundy, Nick Hamilton, Nightcast Media. Just wanted to ask you, going from being a former player to being a current head coach, how surreal is it for you to see yourself in the new college football game? And how much fun have you got a chance to even play it?
I have not played the game, but I think it's pretty cool that somebody put me in a video game. I don't know if somebody showed me the picture just recently of it, and they gave me a great hairdo. Like, I have really good hair, but I mean, that's like permanent hair for like forever. But I'm good with it. I wish my royalties off it were as much as the players, but it should be fun.
So,
is he getting royalties? That I mean, I don't like this. I'm not a big hair fan. of his, at least.
You don't like the
mullet? No,
the mullet.
I haven't seen him. Does he still do that? I think that he does a lot of things that I think he does a good job of a lot of things, but I think on game day sometimes he kind of chokes. Don't you?
Well,
agree with
he changed out a lot of his assistants, new OC, new DC, and
I think that was for self-preservation. That's
well,
why
it was.
Usually when that happens, Steve, if it's not voluntary, in other words, like Coach Saban loses his, and no big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start if they start making you change it,
yeah,
to me it's TikTok.
Well, that was part of his restructured deal as well to stay at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, so I think it's TikTok for him. I really don't think he'll be there first. I think he's a good coach, but it's kind of like anything. He's not really been able to consistently. I mean, they win, but they beat the teams they're supposed to beat, right?
Well, they didn't do a whole lot of winning last year.
Exactly, but in the past, even when a good year, he beats the teams he's supposed to, and then doesn't beat the other team. Weren't they like number one at one time, and then they went on the road and got beat by some just awful?
I want to say Iowa
team?
State or something.
Yeah, it was Iowa State, and they were up at halftime, and Iowa State came back and beat them.
Yeah,
knocked them out of the playoff.
Yeah.
And that's when they had that great receiver, and they had some really good players.
Yeah,
they get
Des Bryant. I think.
Yeah, they do a really good job, and then have a lot of trouble on game day and lose to some teams that they're really better. Now they're not going to get up. I haven't seen them get upset big.
They were 3-9 and 0-9 in conference play last year.
Yeah, so I don't think he's long for the. Yeah, I don't think he's. I don't think he's going to be there much longer. That's just my. We'll see.
Well, speaking of losing, let's go ahead and take. I'm not going to intro Ben Ingram this way. I'm doing this now. Ben, if you're listening, my apologies, but the Braves have been doing a lot of losing here lately, and we will have Braves baseball for you tonight.
They're getting ready to turn around. I can feel it.
This is what they need.
It's their time.
They need the mojo of the Drive to turn things around, because after all, the only game in which the Braves have won this month, I was there for. I went over for that one game.
Get in the car.
And interview. Well, they're in Sacramento, so
all right. So it might take a while.
I'll take a while.
Yeah, it'll take a minute. But the voice of the Braves, Ben Ingram, is going to join us on the other side as we're live here from Baumhower's.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Sure, Valley Equipment Rental takes care of the homeowner and his needs, but how about the pros out there? Well, Valley Equipment has the big stuff as well. The equipment you need to get any job done. I'm talking about the big track hoe excavators, from the 30,000-pound mid-size one to the big boy 50,000-pound units. Need a dozer on the job? Well, they've got them up to 105 horsepower, and that's a good-sized machine. Plus, Valley Equipment has more lifts than anyone around. Up to 80-foot booms that reach 56 feet with a 10,000-pound capacity. 2 locations, North and South Parkway. Check them out today.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution to your specific need. That's what doing the right thing is all about, and that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings, in Hampton Cove and our latest location, now open in New Market on Winchester Road.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at Your Home Window Company. When it comes to replacement windows, exterior doors, or new window screens, Your Home Window is the answer anywhere in Huntsville, Athens, Decatur, or Hartselle. Your Home Window windows and doors are made here in the USA and come with a lifetime warranty. When replacing those old windows or doors, Your Home Window has the solution for you. In-home estimates are always free and financing is available. Learn more at yourhomewindow.com and see clearly with Your Home Window. Visit yourhomewindow.com to make an appointment today.
There's a lot of talk these days about who's the biggest. I'm attorney Gary Lackey. Bigger doesn't equal better.
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. We know we're not the biggest. We don't want to be.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're big enough to handle your case and get you the help you need,
but small enough to welcome you. Where you're never just a number, you're part of our family.
The Lackey Law Firm, 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Back here at Baumhower's Victory Grille, along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Over on Talk Radio, WZZN. It is a rain delay at the moment for the Rocket City Trash Pandas taking on the Chattanooga Lookouts, but as soon as the wet weather subsides there, you'll be able to hear Josh Carey and every single pitch over there on Talk Radio, WZZN. We are walking up to some Braves baseball as Ben Ingram, the voice of the Braves, is kind enough to hop on. And Ben, the last time I saw you, there was better news to report on that day. Goodness. How you holding up, brother?
Oh, man, we're doing all right. I mean, it's that's how it goes, unfortunately, ups and downs. And unfortunately, we're in one of the downs right now, but maybe that'll change.
Goodness. I mean, it feels like, pardon the pun with the rain delay, when it rains, it pours. I mean, it's one thing after another. It feels like this snowball started even back in spring training with the news about Ronaldo Lopez. It just, but there are certain places that there is some sun, and I mean, no one can underscore exactly. It's remarkable to see what Ronald Acuna has done right out of the gate.
Sure, yeah, and to your original point, look, it's it's been that kind of a season where you're just trying to hope that you have a stretch of time where you can get your head above the waves, as they say, just kind of catch your breath. That really hadn't been the case. You go back to spring training, like you mentioned, with Ronaldo Lopez, and then starting 0-7, and then the suspension for Jurickson Profar and losing 4 guys out of your rotation. Hits have been coming. But the thing that I try to remind everybody is that's the nature of what this is. That's the nature of this game. There's a reason that every year when we're at spring training making predictions, we say, well, if this team's healthy or if that team's healthy, they can achieve this, that, and the other. Well, health is the key ingredient, and that's been a big part of it. But that's not the only element for the Braves. They have multiple players who have underachieved, and you're going to have that from season to season. You're also hopefully going to have seasons where guys overachieve. You just don't hope that they all do it at the same time. You're not going to win the World Series every single year. And with where this team is right now, it's a very sour season, especially one where you had some expectations that you could make some noise and do some things in the National League. That just hadn't been the case. But, yeah, you're right. It's been good to see Ronald Acuna back. He's been exceptional. It's been a good run for the last month and a half for Matt Olson. You just need a lot more of that because there have just been so many things on the other side of the ledger that have been against you and hurt you, and kind of leaves everybody in the state of bewilderment.
So you say state of bewilderment. That's what it looks like sometimes it looks like there's no confidence on the team. And I'm a layman. You when it comes to baseball, you've forgotten more than I'll ever know. But when I see it, you see it on their faces when they come up to bat. And is there a problem? Do you think in the dugout or lack of confidence? Is there something that's happening behind the scenes that maybe that's keeping them from not playing their best? I guess. But
well, yeah, that's a tricky question to answer because I don't know that you'd get one answer across the board if you were to poll everybody in the clubhouse. I think what it ultimately boils down to is how can it not wear on you? You know what I mean? If you're losing every single day, if things aren't going your way, if you're 39-51 when you thought you might be 51-39, how does that not wear on you? I wouldn't say that wears down your confidence, but I think it certainly wears down your expectation and maybe what you think this team can achieve. I don't know that individually anybody is lacking confidence, but I think as an entire unit, as a team, how could that not break you down? How could that not day after day break you down and you really kind of show signs of that? I think what you're seeing is a level of disappointment on guys' faces more than it is a lack of confidence. If there's something that has taken place behind the scenes, I'm not aware of it. It's just as simple as guys not performing to the level that they thought that they would. And I just don't think that over the course of a season, you can just ward those feelings off and just shed that. I think that over the course of a season, they're human beings. They're not robots. That's going to wear people down, and that gets tough. And when you have a good night, but then you take 2 steps back, 3 steps back, and things aren't going your way, I think that really wears on a group. And I think the disappointment is what we're seeing on these players' faces.
It does remind me a little bit of that scene from The Natural, 1980s movie, where losing is a disease, and it feels that way to me, Ben.
Where's Robert Redford where you need him?
Think about this too. Yeah, think about this too, because sometimes when it comes to losing, you can't explain it. Sometimes you can. You can say, okay, this guy, that guy, and that guy aren't having the seasons that you expected them to, and that's certainly the case for this team. I think you'd point at Michael Harris. I think you'd point at some of these other injuries that the team has had. I think you look at the up and down nature that you've had from Sean Murphy. I think you'd look at the up and down nature that you've had from Austin Riley, a PED suspension. You could point to these things and say these are contributing to the team losing. But at the same time, when you look at this team on paper, when you look at the roster, it's inexplicable to me that they would lose the way that they are. You just wouldn't think that this group would fall to that level for weeks and months at a time. And on the flip side of that coin, there have been teams that I've broadcasted for, been a part of, here included, where you'd look and say, man, I didn't expect them to be this good. How are they playing this well? How are things looking the way that they are? And you can't, I'd say that about 2021. I got to September and thought, how is this, what is happening here? Because I didn't see this coming. But that's the way that it is. And that's why it can be so frustrating, because winning or losing in a great capacity, sometimes it's inexplicable.
That and the fact of so many one-run games. I guess that is also the frustrating part of this whole deal, is how many one-run games that this team has been in, Ben.
Mm-hmm. Well, to me, there's 2 elements to that. If you are not scoring runs, you're going to be involved, and you're pitching, you're going to be involved in a lot of really low-scoring, close games. And first and foremost, this team hasn't hit, plain and simple. They've had stretches where they've been okay offensively, but they have severely underperformed offensively. So first and foremost, you're not giving your pitchers the kind of run support that they need night in, night out. On top of that, I'd look at the bullpen, and I'd look at losing guys like Joe Jimenez, looking at guys like A.J. Minter, whom you lost. There are losses that took place from this bullpen, be it by injury or free agency, and there was not a reloading process. In other words, there was not a move made in free agency or a trade to go acquire somebody to step into those shoes. So to me, you've got all the elements there to be losing close games. If you're not hitting and your bullpen doesn't go out and reload with the pieces that they lost, or try to have guys step in for the pieces that you lost, it's hard to expect that you're going to continue at that rate. And that's what I've seen out of this team for this season.
Talking to Ben Ingram, voice of the Braves. You'll be able to hear him tonight right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And is there at least any injury update news, specifically on the arms front. When I was over there last Tuesday, boy, it was certainly surprising considering how well Schwallenbach looked against the Phillies.
Yeah, it's very disheartening because you're talking about a fractured elbow, and you don't get that too many times with a pitcher. Typically, if it's elbow, it's going to be the tendon, ligament, that kind of thing. You're experiencing some kind of a ligament within the elbow or something within the shoulder, and this is a fracture. So they're telling us that maybe towards the end of the season, and I don't know what he looks like at that point after being out for a couple of months. It's going to take him time to heal. You get the rib cage fracture for Chris Sale, shoulder for Reynaldo Lopez. The list goes on, and you've just been docked multiple pitcher after pitcher after pitcher, and I don't expect any of those guys to be back anytime soon. I mean, maybe we could start talking about Chris sometime in August, maybe. And the good news is that's not his arm, but maybe once that rib heals, and it's multiple ribs, that you could get him back at some point in August. But to me, he would be the first one back, and by then, where are you in the standings? It seems to me at that point it might be too little too late.
Wow. So, I noticed there was a couple of call-ups from Columbus up to Gwinnett, but, we just tried the experiment with Fuentes, and this is my biggest fear watching him in the dugout last night, Ben, was his future and crushing his confidence moving forward.
Well, the good news is he's 20, and I think if you send him back and he can get back on track and be where he's supposed to be, then you can get his confidence back. Here's the thing: he was fast-tracked, and if you want to fast-track a position player, that's one thing. I'm not in baseball development. Those guys know more about what they're doing than I do, but at the same time, I don't understand fast-tracking a 20-year-old pitcher. It's such a high demand in that position to get a pitcher up to the big leagues. We're not talking about Roger Clemens. We're not talking about Doc Gooden. We're not talking about some young guy who's got the best stuff you've ever seen. Having stuff doesn't mean that you're going to win in the big leagues. You can have the best stuff in the world, but if you don't learn how to do something with it, it's not going to make a difference. These guys at the big leagues can hit. They're the best in the world. And where you're going to see it stack up against a guy who's inexperienced is he's going to get to 2 strikes. He's going to have a difficult time putting batters away and getting strike 3. Next thing you know, by doing that batter after batter after batter, you're going to be at 30 pitches in the first inning and 50 pitches in the second inning and 60 pitches in the third. The next thing you know, you're out of the game. I remember having multiple conversations about this in pitching development with Don Sutton. And he was talking about how innings in the minor leagues is like lifting weights. You can't just rush a guy in and expect him to learn how to win at the big league level. You have to learn to win before you get to the big leagues. And we're talking about a 20-year-old kid who's never had a single win above a low A. So it doesn't make any sense to me why you would bring him up and throw him into the big leagues and just expect good things if he's never done it at any other level lower than this. How can we ask a guy to do something at the big league level that he's never done in AAA or AA or even high A? It doesn't make any sense to me. So I think that if you get him back to where he's supposed to be, he can develop the way that he needs to naturally and get that confidence back.
I felt for the kid. I really did, especially when he's walking off bases loaded. And, of course, the cameras are there. But I just feel for the kid, honestly. And he just turned 20.
Right. Well, and it's not his fault, if you ask me. He was asked to go do something that he wasn't ready to do. And, unfortunately, he's the one that's on the stage and is the one that we see. But to me, it's not his fault that he was asked to do something that he wasn't ready to do.
This is tough. What is different preparation wise? Because calling the game, you're following the story, and that story got out of hand early last night.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think for what we do, we obviously have to bring our listeners the team, good and bad. We have to do our best to tell the truth, good and bad. It's not our job to pile on. But I think we have to tell the truth and tell people what's going on. And if we think there's a reason why a team is not playing well, then we have to tell them what we have to do. At the same time, this is entertainment as well. And whether the team has lost 20 in a row or won 20 in a row, you have to still continue to inform your audience and entertain your audience. And that becomes a lot more challenging when the team isn't playing well, but that doesn't mean the job changes. So at the end of the day, I still love the fact that I'm behind the microphone tonight at 10:05 Eastern time, 7:05 out here, and I get to call Major League Baseball games. So I can't control the results, but what I can control is what we say on the air and how we deliver that information to our audience, and I look forward to doing that every single night.
Well, I will tell you, at least on the other end of it, the MLB Network with that whole trade Ronald Acuna, I don't think this team is that far off. And the whole idea of blow up to me was a tad bit ludicrous.
Well, and I think they throw that out there because they're not attached to the situation. I think for people who cover this game on a national level, they're just going to talk about what they know. I don't think blowing up the team, I don't even know if they're in a position to blow things up. I mean, this is a different situation, 2025, than where they were in 2014, where they blew the thing up and rebuilt the farm system. They do need to rebuild the farm system, and they do need to draft well and scout well and develop well and do it all at a higher level. But I don't think that you're in the same position now that you were 11, 12 years ago, where it was such an obvious answer to blow it all up and restock the farm system. It's a different set of circumstances now. And some of the trade proposals that I saw them throwing out there, that's for viewers, that's for clicks. None of that to me made any sense because you have one of the best players in the world controllable for the next 3 seasons at $17 million a year. You don't just throw that away. I think you'd have to get a lot more than what some of those proposed trades were, because at the end of the day, who are trades good for with what they're talking about? They're great for the networks. They're great for viewers. They're great for clicks. They'd love that to happen. They don't care about how it impacts the Braves, good or bad. They just want the attention. So I don't put any stock into some of the trade proposals that I saw for Acuna.
Yeah. I'll be listening tonight. I know there's a lot of Braves fans. Honestly, I was expecting a little bit of this in 24. I mean, just being transparent with you, Ben, I was expecting a little bit of a dip last year, and it feels like this is a year too late.
It could be. Look, every year, 29 other teams are trying to get better. I mean, everybody's trying. Everybody's trying to do their best to click on the right trades and click on their draft picks and develop well and sign guys long term and that kind of thing. So it's not easy to reach the top. It's harder to stay at the top. And when you get an opportunity to be at the top like the Braves were in 2021 and winning 6 straight division titles, you have to enjoy that because that doesn't happen very often. It's very rare that something like that happens. And you're not owed anything. I mean, just because you've won it however many years in a row doesn't mean that you're owed to win it the next year. You got 4 other teams in the division that are drafting well and developing well, and they've got their own ways of success. So it's very, very competitive, and it just shows you how good this team was for 6 years for them to win the division that many times in a row.
Finally, Ben, I was at least surprised timing-wise, not necessarily the fact that the GM and coach were let go there for the Nationals, but the timing surprised me a little.
I think it's surprising to everybody in baseball. I mean, if you're going to cut anybody loose, you wouldn't think you'd do it the week before the draft. That was alarming, especially with the number 1 pick. Maybe one thing if you had the 20th pick or something like that, but when you got the number 1 overall pick, that is surprising. So that tells me they had completely lost confidence in the direction that they were going, tip of their cap for what they did in 2019 and on to the next wave. And that's just the nature of this game, I guess.
I'll be listening tonight, and thank you so much for hopping on.
You got it, fellas. I appreciate it. Good to visit with you.
It's Ben Ingram, voice of the Atlanta Braves.
And he sounds that good on the phone, too.
Yeah. He's one of those where I remember the first time I met Ben, and he's a rather young gentleman, and I wasn't expecting that voice to come out of that body. And
that's a much more mature voice than the body that carries it around.
Yeah. He's fun to listen to. But hopefully Bryce Elder can bring it tonight. Here's hoping. But I guess if the Braves win tonight, I'm going to have to get Ben on more frequently, right?
Yeah, he'll want to come on every night.
I'll go ahead and put him on speed dial.
There you go. Braves 13 games out of first place. This is game number 91 tonight for the Atlanta Braves. Away game number 45. As Braves and Athletics will get going at 9:05 Central Time, and you'll be able to hear it right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Let's take our final time out. Final call for phone calls on the other side. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Does it really matter which dealership you plan to buy from? Short answer is yes. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford. Taking a little time to find out about the dealership before you buy can have a big payoff. Customer reviews let you know what others think, and that's good. But industry reviews can tell you even more. Woody Anderson Ford is proud to have been selected as Ford's Triple Crown winner, an award that only 1% of the top Ford dealers in the country are able to earn. This is a big deal, and here's why. Ford's Triple Crown is based on superior customer service, sales excellence, and over-the-top service delivery. And again, only 1% of the top Ford dealers in all of America achieve this goal. Woody Anderson Ford is top of the top. So when it's time to pull the trigger on your next car, truck, or SUV, we'd be honored if you'd give us a chance to show you how we earned our Triple Crown status. Woody Anderson Ford. I'm Bobby White. We hope to see you soon.
John Abraham here for Bobcat of Huntsville. Right now till the end of June, you can get 0% financing on the world-famous line of Bobcat skid steers, excavators, mowers, and tractors. Need attachments? They got them. And did I mention 0% as in nada? No financing charge for 48 months. It's like free money. Visit the brand new Bobcat of Huntsville in their tremendous new facilities on Highway 20 in Madison, right next to Redstone Harley-Davidson.
Hey there, everybody. Bob Baumhower here, letting you know that we understand that times are tough and we truly believe value matters. So, by popular demand, we brought back our Inflation Bites menu featuring scratch-made meals that will make the whole family smile and your wallet, too. Menu items start at just $7.99 and any entree comes with a free beverage. Try our classic tailgate burger for just $8.99 or our hearty Bam Bam chicken platter for $9.99. Baumhower's Victory Grill. Legendary fun, legendary food.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Your Fox 54 weather brought to you by Tellini's Italiano.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms are going to be possible through the heart of the afternoon, early into the evening. Some of that activity could linger into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning. Partly sunny sky Thursday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 80s with scattered showers and thunderstorms once again.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. The Atlanta Braves.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Here it comes. Line shot left field. Around third base, Albies. Here's the throw from Lux. Not in time. Braves win as the rookie walked it off in 11 innings.
All season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Really appreciate Ben Ingram hopping on. Certainly not easy to talk about with what's going on there in
he got a little
South
offended,
Cobb County.
yeah. Well, so they just somebody needs to step up and be a leader.
Ozzie Albies has been disappointing at the plate. He has been, so has Michael Harris. Michael Harris has been very disappointing at the plate. And Austin Riley has had a couple of dips this year as well. It's in terms of consistency, the two best players bat-wise are your all-stars. That's Ronald Acuna, who didn't even play for the first 50 games of the year, coming off of the injury, and then also Matt Olson at first.
He didn't play last year either, right?
A large part of last year.
But, when I watched him last year, and I'm not I pull for the Braves. I'm not a huge Braves fan like you guys are. Like most everybody at the station is, or huge Braves fans. But I enjoy when they win because it makes so many people happy. But when I watch them, they look like a different team. It's in their faces, though. It's like, and I'm talking about, not talking about recently. I'm talking about a month ago. And I told you as much.
Yeah, you did.
I said they didn't look like something changed in their faces.
I remember you brought up, I think I brought up 21, but it doesn't, even in 21, there was a little bit of momentum where we'd hover around 500, but it's
well, I could just tell it's not in their faces. When I watched them in the past, and they were at 500, they said I could tell they were getting. You can tell they're getting better. They're getting confidence. I think their confidence is gone, and I can hear it in his voice. I can hear it in Ben's voice. He thinks the year's over. Right? Did you not?
I didn't hear a lot of optimism, especially when I talked about arms. Give me some good news, arms-wise, was basically the direction I was going. He was like, well, this guy is going to be done till late August. And honestly, if this is a wash, I would be all for just shutting down Chris Sale and getting him ready for next year. But he was pitching really well up until he got hurt. And I was hoping for a little speck of optimism for the fractured elbow, but no, he's telling me late September that he's done. He's done.
He'll be there for the playoffs. It's a trade date over?
It's the 31st of July.
So you think they'll start trading people?
They need bullpen help.
So let me ask you this.
They need starting.
When he said some things that were very interesting to me, and I didn't want to get into it because I was interested in what he was saying.
Mm-hmm.
But the way he kind of was talking is that they have a problem in the minor leagues. The Braves.
Yes, that was. And by the way, Columbus is up here playing the Trash Pandas. I want to say the same week as the All-Star game.
So what is the problem?
There is
Why
a
does he
lack
say
of
that?
talent. There is a lack of talent in the Braves farm system.
So how'd that happen?
I would have to research that a little bit more, but as certain draft picks, like the Matt Olson trade, I think we traded away 3 rookies to get Matt Olson, although Matt Olson has been really good. So, but not that's just one example, but there has been several trades where
the future further now.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So that happens. So,
but he did say this is not 2014, where 2014 was pretty much a dire situation and blew up the roster.
So what was he talking about when he said that the I'm trying to exactly, but he was talking about that there was a player that hadn't done very well that was drafted high last year, or
I'm trying to think exactly who he was talking about.
But it was kind of like.
Well, no, he was talking. No, we were talking about Didier Fuentes, the starting. He just turned 20. He just turned 20 2 weeks ago.
So he was
fast tracked to the majors.
You were upset with the decision, and he was too.
Yes, he was.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
And he said he hadn't won a game other than A-ball.
Yeah.
Well, why would they do that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
But the look on that kid's face last night, I am fearful that
maybe he'll get. Yeah, there are a lot of good.
You can get. This feels like a Nick Sabanism. I mean, it's one game.
It is one game, but let me tell you, I watched, especially the quarterback position or the pitcher position. To me, is the same.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of pressure on them.
Yeah,
you win and lose games with those guys. If you play them too early, you can ruin them.
That is my fear.
When I was at Alabama,
that is my biggest fear, is that we have already scarred Didier Fuentes, and he's just now 20 years old.
Yeah. So
he is learning how to pitch to major league batters playing Major League Baseball, which that is not a formula for success.
So what was he talking about, the pitching part of that last night? Like he was throwing so many pitches because I guess he gets deep in the count.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
he's already at 60 pitches. They took him out, I think. There was nobody out, and the bases loaded in the second inning.
The second inning?
It was 9-0 in the second inning last night.
Well, no wonder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I fully admit it. 9-0. I tapped out. I was done. Joe, close this out strong. Joe, you're on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Joe.
I just want to check in, guys. I certainly enjoyed last week.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, I got a lot of good feedback from last week, including Miss Marilyn. Miss Fuller called me, and she's doing quite well.
Well, I hope she's listening, and prayers for her. I hope she's doing well.
Yes, she is. Minding that blood pressure.
I really forgot about the sombrero hour.
Oh yeah. How in the world could you? I still have the sombrero. I need to take it to the new office. It needs to get hung up.
One of the best shows we did.
Yeah, the sombrero.
Show. Well, the best show though was when he called in because Caitlyn Jenner got Woman of the Year.
Yeah. That was great.
That was maybe.
Yeah. I believe the term was he a guillotiner or a tucker?
Yeah, that. What? That's when that's Cowboy, Crimson Cowboy.
I don't get it.
What? Yeah.
And I don't want to.
Hey, Steve, you still got the sombrero t-shirts?
I do. Yes, I do.
Get them out to show Brian. You'll understand.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Joe.
I'll need to bring in the sombrero just to have it in the new place.
Yeah.
No, John, we had a big time back then. I can tell you that. Hey guys, appreciate y'all on this.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you for calling, Joe. Good to hear from you.
And a big thank you to Baumhower's Victory Grille for hosting us. Of course, next week, heading over to Hotlanta for SEC Media Days.
Can't wait.
Here we go.
Incidentally, Joe mentioned listening to the shows from last week. I've got those loaded on the website. Just click on the podcast tag. You can go and listen to all those great shows. Go back and listen to them again.
And then tomorrow, Gertie Arman's going to join us.
Where are we?
We may be somewhere tomorrow. Yeah, we are somewhere. But big thank you to Baumhower's Victory Grille for hosting us. Braves baseball comes up after some guy filling in for Feinbaum.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. This hour of the Paul Feinbaum Show is brought to you by Sense Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
The weekend's full of surprises. From Williams-Brice to Death Valley, on the Firebomb Show, Paul's on the road. If he don't get to